What's up, folks? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I did something a little bit smart here. You guys can tell. If you watch my videos in order, you'll be like, hey, that guy's got the same shirt and hat on. I figured I'd knock out two videos in one go, but I have two very different topics. This one is on why you need to be buying land, why you should buy dirt. And I think that it is the best investment that you can possibly make. And I'm going to tell you why. First, though, thank you for tuning into the show. Please hit that like button. It just shows you support the channel. Like it really does help. It even kicks the algorithms in YouTube, fires them up, and they'll say, hey, people like this. We'll share it more. So please, it helps me. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you don't already subscribe, and hit the little bell to be notified when I post a video, because you don't want to miss them. I keep it so you never know what to expect. It might be something like this. I might be working out on a farm. I may be installing new fenders and a visor on a 1981 Peterbilt 359 soon. Anyways, guys, I'm still drinking Bullet because I'm doing this video right after the other one, and I don't take a lot of drinks because I try to keep talking. So this has not had a lot of sips out of it, so I'm about to take another one. But like I said at the beginning, this video, I'm going to tell you why you need to be buying land. I had a guy, and where this kind of stems, I had a dude that was an idiot in my comments on YouTube. I will go ahead and preface this and say, if you are an idiot continuously in my comments, I'm probably going to block you. I just ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for it. I don't care about my listener or watcher's audience. I don't care about them being bombarded with morons in the comments. So if you are just habitually an idiot, I'm probably going to block you. Or being a jerk, I'm probably going to block you. So this guy was an idiot that was then becoming a jerk. So that's why he got blocked. And he commented on a video. I don't remember exactly now what it was he said, but it was something to the tune of, you shouldn't be buying land. You should never finance land. That's what it was. You should never finance land. He said you should wait until you have the cash to pay for the said land. And that is one dumb statement. Now look, I've got a Dave Ramsey book in the house, Total Money Makeover or something. I have never read it. I'm sorry, Dave. If you're watching, I apologize. But here's the deal. Farmers operate in debt. I've told people this many times. We operate in debt. Are there outliers that don't? Sure. There's always outliers out there, no matter what it is. I wish I had some witty outlier in another industry to compare it to right now, but I don't have any offhand. Sorry, guys. I didn't think of that ahead of time and have it wrote down. But there are outliers. I'm sure some guy might watch and be like, I farmed so and so many acres, never took a dime from the bank, never took a dime from the lender. Man, that's awesome. That is so awesome. That is not how I did it. So that's not how I'm going to tell you to do it. I'm sharing how I did it, and I'm sharing what I see. So I absolutely believe you should finance land. And I'm going to tell you why. First, of all the things that a person buys, we buy vehicles, we buy houses. I mean, nowadays you can essentially finance everything. You get online, you want this refrigerator, you can order it, you can use Affirm or whatever it is, you can pay 12 months, 6-month installments, you can buy TVs, you can do that. Hell, you can buy a table and you can finance it. You could buy a knife and you could finance it, essentially. It's endless what you want to finance now. So in a world of credit and financing, there's not much of a smarter thing to finance than land. And I wrote down some stuff here. So if you see me looking at my notes, it's because I was prepared for this video. Here you go. Rich people. Look, who wouldn't love to look and see $1 million or more in their bank account? I mean, I know I would. I'm sure you would too. For more than 200 years, investing in real estate has been the most popular investment for millionaires. So across the board, studies and statistics show rich people buy land. The rich folks buy land. Some of the wealthiest people in the world own the most acres. Look, I don't trust Bill Gates. I think that guy is conniving. I think he's sneaky. I don't know if he is Dr. Evil or whatever, but I do think he's up to something. I just don't trust the guy. But I used to say, man, this guy don't need to be buying all the dadgum farmland up. Look, do I want him to buy our farmland? I don't. I don't want him to. We already have enough competition with the big farm operations. The last thing I need is a dadgum billionaire coming in buying all the land and making it impossible to ever own it. Because I will never be able to buy a farm from Bill Gates. He probably paid astronomical amount per acre. It would take, I mean, he just ain't going to sell it. Because what's it going to benefit him? It ain't going to benefit him. He's a billionaire. If I paid him $1 million for a farm, he wipes his butt with $1 million. If he wipes his butt, he's a weird guy. He may not even wipe his butt. But anyways, millionaires like billionaires like Bill Gates, they buy land. If I was a billionaire, I would own a absolute boatload of acres. It just is what it is. It is smart investing. So as much as it pains me to say this, I understand why Bill Gates is buying farmland. It's smart. It is smart. Now, he's probably paying cash for them. He ain't having to finance. Me and you, we ain't got Bill Gates' money. We ain't even got, I don't know. We don't even have the Dell guy's money. Well, that guy's probably got a lot of money too. We just don't have a huge bank account is what I'm saying. We can't go pay cash for some of these farms. Now, unless it's like 1/8 of an acre, somebody might want $2,000 for it. We could probably do that, but that ain't really going to benefit us. Here is the trajectory. When you're buying something, look, I'm a gun guy. I tell my wife all the time when I buy a new gun, it's an investment. I'm thinking of the family. Protection and investment. These will only become more valuable. And as much as I sound like I'm just trying to justify my position, there's actually some truth to that. Firearms in general, they appreciate. They're going to reach a point where it's just probably never going to get much higher. I mean, your standard run-of-the-mill firearms, they're probably never going to be worth $100,000. If you have some limited edition shotgun that they only made 2 of them in the world, it might reach it. But land is that asset that as the population increases, and we're expected to constantly increase in population, people got to live somewhere. People got to eat. The demand for land will only increase as the population increases, which means the value of land will only increase. It's an upwards trajectory pretty much forever. And if you look around, I mean, land values are already getting crazy in some places. I mean, even in my area, I'm seeing some crazy land values. And that's a point I'm going to get to. And that's actually the point I'm going to get to right now, because I have it wrote right here. It builds equity for financing power. This is the thing, again, I'm talking about financing land. If you can buy land and you can finance it, 30 years, 35 years, some of them will go 40 years. You can spread out that amount, and you can do it in a way where you can afford the payments. Do it. Because every year you have this land and you make payments on it and all that, you're building equity up over time. And as time passes and you retain this farm and land values increase, let's say they order a reappraisal on your land, or when they do a reappraisal on your land and the land value suddenly is double what it was when you bought it, you essentially just doubled your equity. Now, I've seen this work firsthand. I mean, and I'll share this. I purchased a farm, and this kind of ties in with my other one. I say my last point on that one was if equipped. buy land needing work. You got to be tactical with your land buying when you are a beginner, a small guy, a nobody in the scene. You got to be tactical with it. And by that I mean, where's the farm that needs some work, but you're equipped to handle it? I did that a couple years ago. There was 130 acres for sale, and it had been for sale for a very long time. What had happened was it was farmed. It was bought out by a developer. The ground was very wet. They ended up not being able to develop it, and they just let the bank have it back. And it sat for years and years, and it grew up very, very thickly. Well, the price was steadily coming down, and I was watching the price come down, and it got down to a point where I was like, you know what, dadgummit, I'm going to go for it. I think I can buy it at this price. I floated a lowball offer. They took the offer. I bought a track hoe to go out there specifically on that farm, and it's going to take years. I have been clearing that farm for several years now, and I still have a good bit of ground to go. But just with what I have cleared so far, they reappraised this farm, and it substantially increased in value. And now I have that much more equity, that much more buying power when it comes to financing, meaning this equity could work as a down payment if I were to buy another farm. Let's say I wanted another farm and I had built up $200,000, $300,000 worth of equity through land I've owned, reappraisals, those kind of things. I have this equity. Shoot, I could turn around and I could buy this farm that is a substantial loan. I could take out a very large loan, and let's say a $2 million loan, and I've got to put down 10%, that's $200,000. Well, if I have $200,000 worth of equity in this farm, I can use that as the down payment on this other farm, so I could get the loan. And then boom, we are in business. And you have used the land that you have bought already as buying power to buy more farms, and it's financed, and you're financing another one. I had a guy tell me rich people never spend their own money. They spend other people's money, meaning they finance. So maybe Bill Gates does finance. I don't know. He probably don't at the level he's at. Well, I don't know. Who knows? I don't have him on speed dial. I cannot call and ask him. But rich people don't spend their own money. They spend other people's money. They finance. Remember that. Finance. It's nothing wrong with financing. Dave Ramsey, there is nothing wrong with financing real estate. Farmland is an appreciating asset, and it's only getting more and more appreciated. So buy farmland. The other side of that is, this is where I look at it. All right. Do you take a risk buying land? Of course. You're financing something, and a lot of times very large amounts. I mean, even a smaller farm may run you $200,000 to $400,000. If you start looking at bigger tracts of land, you may be talking $1 million, $2 million. I mean, money that sounds crazy. Like, you know, if you had asked me several years ago, would you ever think you'll be $1 million in debt on land? Probably wouldn't have. But you just see how things play out. But here's the way I look at it. I've always lived by the motto of you got to risk it for the biscuit. And it's no different with farm ground. If you want to have farm ground, then you got to take a chance. You have to step out on that limb. If you can get the financing and you can figure out a way to remotely make it pencil out. I had a guy say, what does pencil out mean? That just means you can't afford it. Like, you have sat down, you have broke down what the payments will be and all this, and you can come up with that cash, then you need to do it. Even if the farm essentially is breaking even, because at some point that farm will be worth it. And here's the deal. The worst thing that can happen, this is not like advice to you to go do this, but it's kind of to help you take that risk. The worst thing that can happen to you is you just lose that farm. Let's be real. If you buy a farm, you can't pay for it, you lose that farm. Your credit will probably take a hit for a couple years. You'll bounce back, and then you can try it all over again. That's the worst thing that can happen. You lose that farm. Now, if they have some liens out on it, you might lose your truck or someone else. Nobody's going to show up to your house and put a gun to your head and your kid's head because you didn't pay for this farm. It ain't going to happen unless you go borrow from some mobsters or something and they actually do that. And in that case, I do not encourage you to go borrow from mobsters. But nobody is going to kill you or your family or break your arms and legs for not being able to pay for this farm. So just take the risk if you can make it pencil out. I mean, if you sit down and there ain't even a remote chance you can make these payments, then you're probably being stupid. But if you feel like, I think I can make this work, go for it, man. Go for it. Take that chance. The other side of it is, don't buy a farm with the intention of selling a farm, but don't be so stubborn that, now this is going to vary for the property. Let's say you inherit your grandfather's farm, or not inherit, because we're talking about buying here. Let's say you were able to purchase the farm that was your grandparents' farm. They had lost it or something, and you were able to purchase that farm back. Don't sell that farm. I mean, if it holds that sentimental value to you, it has the family history, I would encourage you not to sell that farm. Now, that mentality can also make you a lot of money. And by that, I mean, if you don't want to sell, you have quite a bit of power. So never buy a farm with the intention of selling a farm. But let's say this farm has no family history. This is a farm you bought. You bought it at a decent price, all that. Then don't be so hard set on it that if somebody comes around and they offer you triple, quadruple, or 5 times the amount you paid for this farm, that you say, no, never selling. Because you got to think about it. You could sell that farm. You then have the capital. Then you could turn around and you could use that capital as leverage to purchase more ground, possibly better ground. So you have to weigh all these options. Land it's a leveraging tool. Aside from just having the most valuable asset that you can own, being land, it is also a very great leveraging tool. Even for anything. You want to buy a house, you own 200 acres, that's pretty solid. Their banks are going to feel like you're a pretty solid cat. You got this land here. That is equity. That is physical things that you own. Land, real estate, very valuable. There was one other thing that I wanted to add on that. Man, I'm drawing an absolute blank. I had one last point. I did not write it down, and it was on the land side of things. But you gotta not be scared to take a chance on buying land, because land, it's going to appreciate. And there's just nothing else cooler to me. All right, we're going to sit here until I think about what it was I was going to say. Boom, got it. Through the power of video editing, you did not see me just sitting there for an extended amount of time trying to remember what it was that I forgot. So here it is, I remember. Never be afraid to lowball offer. Now, I'm not telling you to be a turd here, but I'm saying if you find a farm that you're interested in, start low. Start low, because they're going to counter, and you can work your way up in the middle. If you start pretty high, you ain't got a whole lot of working room there. Start low. The worst thing they can say is, no, here's what we need. Usually they'll come down a little bit, and then you go, boom, I'll counter offer again. They may come down, boom, counter offer, and then you meet in the middle right there. Or they may be really stubborn. I've dealt with those people that are insanely stubborn, and you're like, I'll offer this, no, this, no, this, no, this, no, this, no. And then you're literally like, okay, I'm going to have to pay this stupid asking price. And it's a farm that you really want, and you just have to do what you got to do. Don't be afraid to lowball offer, because it's best case scenario, they might say yes. The first farm I ever bought, lowball offer, really didn't expect to get it. Realtor said I wouldn't get it. Got a call a week later, said I got it. So it works. sometimes, and if nothing else, it opens the door for negotiation. So do not be afraid to lowball offer, but buy land. If I can tell you anything, buy land. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully that helps. I've talked about lenders. You know, hey, buy land, use farm credit. You can go use FSA on their young farmers loans. Proceed with caution. You'll get a great interest rate, but it comes with a cost. Farm credit, FSA, check with your local banks. Look around. There's all kinds of ag lenders out there, and they all want your business. See what they got. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys so much. Please hit that like button, hit subscribe, comment below, and let me know what you'd like to see. What is some other topics you'd like for me to cover? If this was helpful to you in any way, it inspired you to go buy a farm, it inspired you to call your banker tomorrow, tell him you need $25 million, you're about to buy 25,000 acres, then do it. Let me know in the comments below. Guys, appreciate y'all. Have a good one.